The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is September 8th, 2025. We are live to tape on episode 874. And today, Tylenol Terminator. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil. And you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It is September 8th. It is Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Monday. I'm back, folks. Thanks for everybody who tuned in to Canary Cry Clubhouse last week. It was sort of a soft return for myself from the BurningManResearch.com, boots on the ground, Burning Man 2025, Canary Cry Research Project. It's a long name, but you know what's going on. Felt good. You know, I'm not going to get into it now, but I'll tell you what, this might have been the most interesting and I'm hoping most insightful boots on the ground trip. Really unlike any of the others for so many reasons. God was doing some incredible personal things, individuals there at the Camp of the Unknown God, and people who are just sort of drawn and captured by what was God was doing there. And then the big sort of meta analysis, the meta vibes, the insights into the sort of global social engineering project. Very strange all around. I take it as a good sign. I'm trusting to take the sort of different vibes of this year's Burning Man, of course, celebrating the dance between dystopia and utopia, and which way shall the world go, when the sort of globalized ritual of 65,000 worldwide attendance has like an unknown vibe to it. I feel that this is maybe a little bit more of some confusion of the adversary, some hard times making these sort of distinct decisions to guide the future of humanity. So I'll be getting into that. And of course, we have episodes. They're coming, folks. They're coming. It's going to be a very interesting year for those who have been keeping up with the Burning Man research sort of meta narrative. So keep an eye out for that. But after Canary Cry Clubhouse last Thursday, where I was so very gently trying to, soft launch back onto the internet, you could hear in my voice and just sort of my energy. It was a little touch and go. Definitely did spend the next 4 or 5 days laying in bed trying to recuperate. So sorry for anybody who was trying to get a hold of me. But thankfully, thanks to the prayers of the Canarium, the good Lord above, and to my mom's weird hippie honey, turmeric, ginger, pepper.
That doesn't sound.
potion.
That sounds legit, actually. Now
It
that
is
I'm
legit.
starting to look into some of that. I mean, yeah, honey,
I'm totally
turmeric.
sold.
Turmeric, it tastes not great, but once you get used to it, it's got some great like anti-inflammatory properties
For
and stuff, right?
someone
If I'm not
like
mistaken.
myself, who for many years has done live podcasts while absolutely high off my gourd on like Dayquil and nasal sprays, like sick as a dog, but just like showing up to work. Those are some of the most fun, loopy, medicated shows. But for somebody who's done that dozens of times over the years, She needs to bottle whatever potion she's making here, because it almost immediately at least alleviates symptoms, and then secondarily moving through whatever sickness this was super fast. So who knows, maybe we'll need to start throwing her whatever sickness potion into the supply
Canary,
drop or
the
something.
supply drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Special Canary Cry branded. We're going into the pharma world. Yeah. The mainstream pharma is crumbling, and it's a great time to get into some more natural forms of pharma.
We seem to be much like how we got to witness and play whatever part in it that God wanted us to play. We got to witness the sort of destruction of the mainstream media empire, sort of
legacy. The legacy towers, or the power they have over people. Yeah.
Empirical hold of human consciousness around the globe. Like, we saw that crumble beneath, the weight of truth over the past few years. It kind of, who knows, we kind of might be seeing that with big pharma. Lots of things to get into.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, into it later on in the show. Big shout out to everybody who produced the show while we're gone. Thank you so much. We'll be thanking producers here. And you know what? I do want to start out real quick just to make sure that it gets done, Guns. Let's call the producers.
The producers on their way.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. You know them, you love them. It's the producers. Who's that? It's you. Producers are those who are spiritually producing the show by praying for the show, praying for us, praying for my poor sick body, but also for other producers of the show. And we have prayer requests come in every so often. And I think you mentioned this one a few episodes back, but I do want to bring up again Sir Darren's mom, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda, whose mother, we're going to keep her in our prayers. She had to have surgery for colon cancer, and we're praying that she recovers well and is healthy for the chemotherapy. So full on attack here. We're suiting up and standing shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the body of Christ here, and lifting up Sir Darren's mom. As far as I can tell, the surgery went good, as good as something like that can be, but there's a lot of recovery and a lot more that needs to happen after that. So we're praying, of course, for miraculous healing and deft skill of the medical professionals, and of course strength and comfort for Sir Darren's mom, but also for the whole family, because that is not just a medical issue at that point. That takes over not just your life, but everybody's lives around you. And so that's when we, as Canarians and producers, get to stand and help support Sir Darren and the whole family as much as we can. So thank you for keeping us posted, Sir Darren. And everybody is keeping your mom in their prayers.
Absolutely.
Okay. And with that, sorry. What do you got?
Well, I was just going to say that it's such a great, I guess, silver lining, if you will, is the observation that our fallen world, it's trapped in decay. We're stuck in this decay process, and it's almost, it all makes sense in the context of big pharma, like we were talking about, and these corporations. And as these entities get larger, their best interest becomes the bottom line, not the health of the public. And so they'll do things that over time we've seen, and I think as things become more public and uncovered and stuff, that basically it was killing a bunch of people, right? But shortening people's lifespans, no matter how much the numbers say that we're living longer. Like, yes, that certainly came with sanitization and things of that nature, but certainly in the last 30 or 40, 50 years, there's been what seems to be no other explanation but a spiritual conspiracy to get as many people sick as possible in one form or another, whether from birth or in, sometime in life, whatever it may be. And so it's interesting how the biblical worldview fits right into all of these things. It's almost like the actual symptom, or the actual problem. Whereas all the stuff that people complain about and are calling out and are exposing these days, those are all the symptoms, which we tread in the symptoms, because when you're talking about mainstream news, you're talking about those symptoms being public. And, when it comes to Sir Darren's mom and my dad struggling with cancer and stuff, that's where the rubber meets the road for a lot of people. Is it's not just a separate thing or just a conspiracy of these evil people trying to take down humanity or whatever, which is certainly true at certain levels, but it's really that spiritual battle, the war we're in, which undergirds all of it. And, when you get to that point, it does feel like, I wonder if people are not able to find that comfort, like that peace that transcends all understanding, that level of just knowing God is there and he's sovereign. And no matter how bad it is, it's that he's got it. It's all under his sovereignty and prerogative for things to unfold the way they do. And I don't know. I hope that our show provides that level of comfort when it comes to pointing to Christ with all this stuff, because, again, we're all struggling with the fallen nature in various ways and various levels, and something like cancer. And as more information comes out about our environment and our medicine and everything else, it just proves that reality. So hopefully people find refuge in that and are able to kind of, get some different perspectives, because I know that I don't know, man, the media, the podcast world, the news breakdown, I don't know, it's just kind of oversaturated. I don't know. It's just, it's not really looking too good or feeling too good.
It's falling victim to a lot of the things that, we spent years pointing out about, legacy media, etc. That includes advertising and the chains that wraps around, and the credibility issues that creates, but also, like you say, sort of the spiritual atmosphere. It's very interesting, and it's easy to lose sight. It's easy to lose sight of the important things, which is overall the most important things for us to try to focus on here. You know what else is hard to lose sight of, Gons?
I could only imagine. What is it?
Bigfoot. No, it's not Bigfoot. No, it's not Bigfoot. No, it's the other hairy legs.
We're going straight to okay. I thought we had some other business to handle, but okay, we're all right. I'm down.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
There was a sighting.
Brought to us by Sir LX Protocol V2 Baron of the Brain Protocol, one of our executive producers for today. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So there's been a Joe Biden sighting, which I don't know. Is he that unpublic that when he's outside and pictures get taken, it's a sighting? I don't know. But people are asking questions. What is the scar on his head? And for those of you watching, or I guess just listening, there's a image here. It's two images. One of Joe Biden getting out of the car, and certainly there is a large crease on his forehead. I don't know if it's a scar. And then a second photo of him walking. I think it's a few seconds after he got out of the car, and of course a big red circle. You got to put the big red circle to highlight the abnormalities. I don't know, Basil. Is this a scar? Are they trying to imply that Joe had brains? Like, what is this? What are we doing, wasting our time with Joe Biden hairy legs being spotted?
Well, it's always
having a scar on his head.
It's important to keep track. It's important to keep track of these folks because they walk among us. We know this. We know the declassified CIA documents have told us that all sorts of creatures and life forms walk among us in our daily lives. And of course, the Bible tells us that we may entertain angels without even knowing it. But those who have been in sort of the weird cryptid conspiracy space also know that other strange creatures walk among us. I'm looking at Joe Biden's face here. He does not look very happy, but it also does not really look like the Joe Biden that I have filed.
It does. Yeah, it does have a little, either he got a lot of Botox or is a different man.
He smells like he's smelling a fart or something. Dovetail 55 in the chat says brain surgery. Yeah, it's all possible, but you got to keep an eye out for these sorts.
His mortal head wound, yet he lived. There he is. It's the Antichrist.
There it is.
There he is. It's Joe Malek Biden.
Well, we'll keep going here because, of course, there's not a whole lot here, but we do need to get these out of the way. There was also a Kamala story coming up.
Our world is sick with war.
Everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
It's good to throw back. It's good to throw back a little bit because it does feel like some kind of fever dream that we had Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president for 4 years.
That is kind of good. It's good to remind us that actually happened and that those people were real and not simply just sort of
caricatures,
an illusory, cartoon that was projected onto reality. By the way, thank you to executive producer Felicia D for bringing us this segment here.
Yeah, and during COVID too, so I think everybody's psychology and everything, emotionally, everything is all messed up when it comes to that period. Okay, this is Fox 26 Houston. The headline here: LAPD no longer providing protection for Kamala Harris after backlash. Report.
No, backlash.
A backlash. Yeah. So, that's basically what the headline said. I'm going to go straight to the heart of the issue here. The decision drew heavy criticism from the public. Really? I don't know about that. Including the board of the Los Angeles Police Protective League. Quote, pulling police officers from protecting everyday Angelenos to protect a failed presidential candidate who also happens to be a multimillionaire with multiple homes and who can easily afford to pay her own security is nuts, end quote, the board said in a statement.
Wow.
I like that a board can come out and say a former presidential candidate and former vice president is nuts, is like the statement that they're bringing to the public. Quote, the mayor should tell Governor Newsom that if he wants to curry favor with Ms. Harris and her donor base, that he should open up his own wallet because LA taxpayers should not be footing the bill for this ridiculousness, end quote. And then Trump revokes Harris's Secret Service protection. So I don't know. Is this draining the swamp?
The story, if I understand the full story, was Trump revoked Harris's Secret Service protection. So Governor Gavin Newsom or the mayor or somebody, they were giving her protection through the Los Angeles Police Department. Yeah. And then I think some Angelenos, there's some clips of like Los Angeles people walking up to where Harris was or where she's living or whatever. And there's like a bunch of cops kind of in plain clothes hanging out in front of their house. And they're like watching like a football game on the hood of their car, just kind of huddled around a phone, and then the person comes up is like, what are you guys doing? Who are you? What's your badge number? And apparently Los Angeles is done giving up their precious police officers to protect Kamala Harris, because honestly, who cares that much? I don't think Kamala Harris is in much danger. It's like just doesn't matter enough to that she's not even in danger. Nobody cares. So there you go. It's a good sign. What I like about this is not only is it a good sign that Los Angeles, Californians are like, we're kind of done. We don't really, it's almost like a virtue signal to agree with your tax dollars going to protect someone who doesn't need protecting, and B, whatever, taking police away from actual crime fighting to go stand outside of Kamala's house and watch football games on the TV. So I think it's good. And then the board, the police board or whatever, coming out with what basically amounts to like a kind of unprofessional statement. Like, this is
they were really mad.
It's just, I think it's a good sign for California.
Great. Fantastic. I'm here for it. I should have, maybe we've already passed the bottom. Maybe we're on the bounce, for California, but we'll see. We'll see. It's still pretty bad out here in certain areas. Let's move on. We got
big news here. Let's get into the real big news. Okay. Right, those stories, that's just warming us up. We're going to talk about RFK and the WACCINE, and this is brought to us by executive producer Amber J. Thank you, Amber J.
WACCINE.
I wanna die or be decapacitated. I wanna be vaccinated.
So I'm going to start with this headline coming from CNBC, and then we're going to dive in a little bit. We're a couple steps into the story at this point, but the headline is Kenvue stock drops 10% on report RFK Jr. will link autism to Tylenol use during pregnancy. So Kenvue, as we'll learn in a moment, is the company that makes Tylenol. Their stock dropped 10% on report that RFK Jr. will link autism to Tylenol use during pregnancy. Shares of Kenvue fell more than 10% on Friday after a report that Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will likely link autism to the use of the company's pain medication Tylenol in pregnant women. HHS will release the report that could draw that link this month, the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday. That report will also suggest a medicine derived from folate, a water-soluble vitamin, can be used to treat symptoms of developmental disorder in some people, according to the journal. In a statement, an HHS spokesperson said, quote, "We are using gold standard science to get to the bottom of America's unprecedented rise in autism rates. Quote, until we release the final report, any claims about its contents are nothing more than speculation," they added. Tylenol could be the latest
There's a lot of coulds. Yeah.
widely used and accepted treatment that Kennedy has undermined at the helm of. He hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it, and they even said it's speculate. Okay, but all right.
Who broke into RFK Jr.'s laptop and read the speech? Or maybe he's doing it on like Google, whatever, a paper. What is it called? The Google document thing?
Google
Docs. Yeah. And
Yeah.
somebody at CNBC is hacked in.
An unnamed source familiar with the matter, of course. Tylenol
Yeah.
could be the latest widely used and accepted treatment that Kennedy has undermined at the helm of HHS, which oversees federal health agencies that regulate drugs and other therapies. Kennedy has also taken steps to change vaccine policy in the U.S. and has amplified false claims about safe and effective shots that use mRNA technology. Kennedy has made the disorder a key focus of HHS, pledging in April that the agency will, quote, know what has caused the autism epidemic by September and eliminate exposures. He also said that month that the agency has launched a massive testing and research effort involving hundreds of scientists worldwide that will determine the cause. In a statement, Kenvue said it has, quote, continuously evaluated the science and continues to believe there is no causal link, of course, between the use of acetaminophen, the generic name for Tylenol, during pregnancy and autism. The company added that the Food and Drug Administration and leading medical organizations agree on the safety of the drug, its use during pregnancy, and the information provided on the Tylenol label. Okay, we agree with the label. The FDA website says the agency has not found clear evidence, in quotes, that appropriate use of acetaminophen during pregnancy causes, quote, adverse pregnancy, birth, neurobehavioral, and developmental outcomes, but the FDA said it advises pregnant women to speak with their healthcare providers before using the over-the-counter drug. Then, of course, they go to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, maintains that acetaminophen is safe during pregnancy when taken as directed after consulting.
Practitioners are the last people to find out about all this stuff anyway. Are they not?
That is true, yeah.
Why are they quoting the practitioners that are further down the chain? But anyway, continue.
Some previous studies have suggested the drug poses risks to fetal development, and some parents have brought lawsuits claiming that they gave birth to children with autism after using it. But if
hey, wait a minute. Hold on.
People,
previous studies, right? Click that link real quick. Click that link for me.
I think that there might be some previous studies that we got to take a look at. Oh, what's this? Takes us page not found.
Page not found.
Page not found.
Listen, I got to be honest here. Every once in a while, maybe once an episode, one link per episode that we provide in our description and our notes sometimes is a messed up link because look, we make mistakes. But I don't expect that from CNBC.
No,
come on, CNBC.
Why would they
You're mainstream. You make millions of dollars. Could you not get a link that works? Or maybe that's their point. Maybe their point is previous studies. Look, it's even fake news. They're pushing fake news, folks. There are no.
We'll bring you the previous study. Don't worry. We don't need to rely on a broken CNBC link to give you the study. We have the study. Let me just finish out the article here, one sec. But a federal judge in Manhattan ruled that in 2023 that some of those lawsuits lack scientific evidence, some of them, and later ended the litigation in 2024. Some research has also found no association between acetaminophen use and autism. That is such a crazy oxymoronic statement, like scientifically. I'm not going to rant about it, but some research has also found, they have found no association. Not that they didn't find an association. They concluded that there's no association, which is not how science works. In a note on Friday, BNP Paribas analyst Navan Tai said the firm believes the hurdle to providing causation between the drug and autism is high, particularly given that the litigation previously concluded in Kenvue's favor. Now, we've all been looking forward to the autism report, okay?
Yes.
He came out, he said he was going to bring it in September. That was April. That was like 6 months ago. And so for 6 months, everybody's like, okay, we're going to find out. Seems fast, but he seems confident. We're going to find out. And of course, we all expect it to be one certain group category of medical product to be responsible. And in fact, he just had a congressional hearing. He's been laying out some of the research. Very little of what he said recently is about Tylenol. In fact, this Tylenol thing is so random. It's not really been brought up. Every single mainstream outlet over the past couple days, they all put it in the headline. RFK says Tylenol bad. Tylenol is bad. Say RFK. Tylenol in trouble. Tylenol stock drops because what? Because a claim that RFK Jr.'s studies may include references to Tylenol.
That's the HSS report, right? Or the HHS report is going to include some kind of connection between Tylenol and
for 6
autism.
months, we're sitting here and we know for a fact, because RFK says it over and over and over, that they're looking specifically for, the study is, we're going to find it. The exposure, the causation, the whatever it is, we're going to find it. We have the data. We're going to figure out what's up with autism, right? And of course, we know that vaccines are a target of this thing. This is this thing for so long. So everybody's sitting here thinking in September, we're going to know, we're going to have it. We'll finally have the smoking gun on the vaccines. And before the report even drops, with no source is, it's going to be Tylenol. He says it may, it could be, it might, it may as well be Tylenol. Everybody knows it's going to be Tylenol. Now, it's very interesting because Tylenol is a brand name. Okay. And Tylenol is showing up in all the headlines.
Yes.
They're specifically saying Tylenol. Now, at the bottom of this article, they mentioned what we all know, which is acetaminophen is the actual chemical. Acetaminophen is the thing, but no headlines anywhere are saying acetaminophen might be the thing that RFK says. They're all Tylenol. So right off the bat, we have the mainstream media in an attempt to distract from the main focus of the study, which we all know is vaccines. Everybody knows the focus of this is going to be on vaccines. But instead of saying, hey, RFK's report is coming out and he's going to be looking at vaccines, every single mainstream outlet names a brand, not a chemical, a brand right there at the top. Yeah. There's this weird protection racket almost going. They're obviously trying to get ahead of the report. They want to get ahead of it. They want to get people riled up and calling him a crazy person and discounting whatever's going to be in the report, not just by saying it's acetaminophen, something almost everybody takes all the time, to some degree. It's a very common drug, but specifically calling out the brand. So not only is it distracting from the possible inclusion of vaccines that everybody's expecting, but it's also separating it from the actual chemical and just going for Tylenol. It's like it's like big pharma and the media are just kind of looking at Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, and being like, hey, sorry, you gotta,
We must sacrifice one of you at the altar of
Yeah.
maintaining control over the populace. And so, sorry,
Exactly.
guys, you guys had a good
Kenvue
run. Yeah.
and Tylenol, they got chosen to be the sacrificial lamb for this psyop. Now to go into the acetaminophen thing is interesting because before the 1980s,
Okay, go ahead,
we'll
go ahead.
get to the study here in a second.
Sure.
Before the 1980s, in the 1980s. Well, before the 1980s,
I've ordered
aspirin.
more pills than anyone in the world.
Yeah, just ask Hairy Legs. Aspirin was the painkiller of choice.
That's right.
Aspirin. It was all aspirin. It was this miracle drug over the counter. Finally, there's a painkiller you can just take for little things. There's a lot of very interesting connections with the flu pandemic of 1918 or whatever it was. There's a lot of very interesting research into it just happens to be that the flu may not have killed all those people, especially because the common answer for somebody who got the flu back in 1918 was to take what we now consider a lethal dose of aspirin to, take away the flu symptoms. They were just throwing aspirin out into the public, and the doses that were being commonly recommended, we now understand to be lethal. So a little side story from the 1918 flu pandemic, but aspirin really was the only painkiller of this kind. Now, in the 1980s, it was discovered, and now, you're 7 decades into people taking aspirin, too much aspirin, pregnant women taking aspirin whenever they have an ache or a pain. And in the 1980s, it was discovered that babies were being born with something called Ray's syndrome or Ray's disease, which is just one of these weird, I don't know the details of what it actually does. Maybe you can pull it up here if it's important. But this,
do you know how to spell it?
I believe it's Reyes.
Oh,
I
Ray's.
believe. Yeah, Ray's disease. So babies were being born with Ray's disease, and it turns out it's because pregnant women were taking too much aspirin. Oh my gosh, the safest, most common painkiller that everybody takes, especially pregnant women, because they got aches and pains coming out of every angle of their body, was causing pregnancy problems. So the scientific establishment comes out, I believe it was 1986, and says, pregnant women, stop taking aspirin. Don't take aspirin. It's dangerous. We know now, after 7 decades or more, you shouldn't take aspirin. It's bad for the baby. Instead, why don't you take acetaminophen? Now, at this point, acetaminophen was basically a newer drug. It was a younger drug. It was less used, not as popular, but it did exist. And when aspirin, when the scientific establishment said, yep, aspirin bad, but don't worry, you can take acetaminophen. And suddenly, everybody started taking acetaminophen. And of course, acetaminophen is everywhere. It's in things that you wouldn't even think are there. But because it was so young, because it was so new, and because it was not very popular, they did not, they called it safe because they were not aware of any problems because nobody took it or whatever. But they called it safe because they didn't know of any bad things that could happen, which, of course, that's our medical establishment, right?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah,
We don't know. And until we do know.
New, yeah, something brand new. It has been around for a long time, but in the, whatever months or
emergency.
years,
In an emergency, we must roll them out. We must do it quickly.
There's been nothing. Don't worry. We haven't heard of anything bad going on with this new drug. Take it as much as you want. So it becomes recommended, becomes very popular. We now know it as the brand name Tylenol. And here we are, four decades into acetaminophen being sort of the go-to. And it turns out that this is actually not very new information. In that CNBC article, they mentioned lawsuits, they mentioned studies, they even said there are studies that says that it's bad for pregnant women. Click here. Oops, 404 broken link. You don't get to see those
You don't get
studies.
to
but
see, yeah. You gotta go do your
legally
own
we
hunting.
do have to do this.
Yeah.
But we have one of the studies here from Harvard. This is not
Yes.
some wackadoodle institution.
And it's from August 20th, 2025. So it's recent. It's not even an old study.
Yeah.
But it says the headline is using acetaminophen during pregnancy may increase children's autism and ADHD risk.
So
Very
it's not
straightforward.
we're not even, as they said in the articles, it's not even coming from RFK himself necessarily. They have this article in Harvard to say that this is a problem, and the mainstream media kind of latching onto it, grabbing onto it, putting the brand name on it, putting it out there with their support from Harvard to get ahead of whatever else might be in that report coming out from RFK. But yeah, like you said, again, sacrificing Tylenol, the brand name, at the altar of protecting sort of broader pharma. Now, acetaminophen, speaking as someone who has done this show live many times over the years, sick as a dog, I can tell you there's acetaminophen in almost everything.
Oh, yes. We pulled up a list here of products that, yes, you may have done several episodes of this podcast under the influence of acetaminophen. I don't know if maybe we should take those down, or I don't know. Maybe there's something there. We found a list of common over-the-counter brand names, medicines containing acetaminophen. And you got Alka-Seltzer Plus, you got Benadryl, Cepacol, Contact, Coricidin, Dayquil, Dimetap, Excedrin. That's a big one. I'm skipping around. Midol, NyQuil. There you go. Oh, Dayquil too. Yeah, Dayquil, NyQuil, Robitussin. Let's see, Cinetub, Sudafed, Theraflu, and then of course Tylenol, Vicks, Zicam, Vicks too. Like, yeah, rub it on your children's chest before they go to sleep. And Zicam, and there are others, common prescription medicines. There's a bigger list there. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of products with acetaminophen in it. So this is it's way beyond Tylenol. Yet, well, on this list, Tylenol is capitalized. So maybe there's something there. Maybe Tylenol is like the lead guy for all acetaminophen branded list of products.
Maybe not. It's certainly the most, again, it's the most recognizable. And it's I think it's the one that most people, most normies, most anybody just scrolling through the headlines will go, oh, Tylenol, I take that. My mom takes that. My kid takes that.
What's the phenomenon where a brand gets associated with an object that it becomes like the brand name, like Kleenex or tissues?
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, Xerox.
You know what I'm talking about? Xerox, another one where the brand itself actually represents the thing for most people.
Google is a recent one.
Yeah. Whatever that is, Tylenol is it for the acetaminophen world, I suppose.
And the total onslaught of attacks on RFK over the past couple weeks have just ramped up to this insane degree. I mean, like, once again, they're calling him in for congressional testimony. They're calling for his resignation. There's been lots of people resigning, and it turns out that the people resigning at HHS and NIH and all these places are like the singular people responsible for letting everything happen over COVID. And they're resigning and being like, oh, I just can't live with myself to work for a department that RFK is in charge of. It's like, no, you're running because you know you're going to go to jail because they're looking at all the things that you did. But this acetaminophen, now look, I'm not saying that the Tylenol acetaminophen thing isn't true. I think it very well could be true.
The leading product, maybe.
Yeah, but what we're not seeing a single headline is RFK's report may include vaccines and
Yeah,
MMR
exactly.
and mRNA and blah, blah, blah.
Right. The vaccine companies are out here. They're like the head of the mob. You know, acetaminophen, Tylenol. Those are
It's an
just
old
kind of,
drug.
they're like
You
little
can let
pawns
it
in the,
go.
yeah, you can kind of sacrifice a pawn to
Mhm.
maintain position of power, you know. So that's probably some of what's going on here. I do have, there's a deeper link of the study, just real quick, from EH Journal. That's the EH Journal article is what's being quoted by or referenced by Harvard. And in it, the evaluation of the evidence on acetaminophen use in neurodevelopmental disorders using the navigation guide methodology, they concluded, I'm just going to go straight to the conclusion at the bottom. Uh-oh, I thought I had it like way more. Uh-oh. No, I got the whole study. Wait, where did the thing go? There was, anyway, they concluded that
will
it's,
be at the top. They'll include the inclusion in some of the top.
oh, here we go. You're right. Our analysis using the navigation guide thus supports evidence consistent with an association between acetaminophen exposure during pregnancy and increased incidence of NDDs. I think this neurodevelopmental
neurodivergent disorders.
Appropriate and immediate steps should be taken to advise pregnant women to limit acetaminophen consumption to protect their offspring's neurodevelopment. The call has gone out. So whatever doctors that one CNBC article was quoting, it is now malpractice that CNBC is promoting,
right?
By like quoting these doctors saying like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. No, you guys are fine. Just keep taking your Tylenol." I don't know. What is the protocol on that? Have we done enough?
Well, so this is something I was just having a conversation with somebody about this, and it was as I was bringing to them this news about the Tylenol thing and sort of making points. Now, at the same time, I'm sure everybody's heard the state of Florida, the health departments of the state of Florida has come out and said, you know what, we're doing it. We're canceling all vaccine mandates for children. It's not the government's job to tell you what to do, you know, just really laying it all the way out, right? So at the same time, even before RFK's reports coming out, Florida is canceling all vaccine mandates. People are either up in arms or raising their arms in celebration. You know, this is a pretty big thing. And in fact, gives me a little bit of hope, but not just because of that decision by Florida, but to look at the big picture as a whole here. We have the flailing sort of corpse of mainstream media, which is already a dead institution. So obviously trying to pull off a little bit of an operation here when it comes to, again, sourcelessness, coming out and saying that Tylenol, the brand name, is
they're the evil ones behind the whole autism scheme. You're right, everybody. There's a scheme for autism, but it's Tylenol, everybody. It's not these other. And by the way, it's
pay no
probably
attention to the vaccine behind the curtain.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's its own ecosystem of beastness or whatever, because certainly the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy, along with all these other mandatory medical procedures, is probably a mixture of all kinds of stuff beyond that. The food, the water, it's all those things. It may not be just one, but as you know, as the identity of the whole apparatus gets exposed, it's almost like they're weaning off parts of them that they can sacrifice as they get taken over.
Having to make tough decisions, trying to prepare themselves for what's coming. And because what is coming, probably in the RFK report, is that vaccines are going to have an issue. And part of what kind of signals this a little bit is we've been getting some very interesting signals from Trump. On his Truth, on his X, he's made some strange posts. Remember, Trump has always defended specifically the COVID-19 vaccine. He brags about warp speed. He, brags about the vaccine. He takes credit for all the good that he did. And this has always been a really weird thing for Trump supporters, because they kind of got to be like, yeah,
it's like the only thing,
but like I can't I can't do it. I don't know. He was lied to or whatever, but he continues
Yeah.
to take credit. So this has been a little bit of a bump in the road for those who support Trump. But only recently has he sort of started to back off on it. Do you have not the video, but the Truth Social where he goes like, I don't know. I thought everything was good. Everything they showed me was good. But if there's something wrong with warp speed, I hope we find out about it. If it is, I think it's good and it's great. And I did a very good job. But if it's bad, they didn't tell me and somebody should tell me. And I'll change my mind if I have to.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the exact post on it. Let's see. Let me see if I can
kind
pull it
of
up
starting
right
to
here.
lay the groundwork without like admitting.
Yep, here it is.
Okay.
September 1st, Donald J. Trump, Truth Social. It is very important that the drug companies justify the success of their various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives, including Donald Trump himself, allegedly, up until maybe recently. Others disagree. With CDC being ripped apart over this question, I want the answer, and I want it now. Daddy's in the house. Daddy's back. Daddy wants some answers. I have been shown information from Pfizer and others that is extraordinary, but they never seem to show those results to the public. Why not? They go off to the next quote unquote hunt and let everyone rip themselves apart, including Bobby Kennedy Jr. and CDC, trying to figure out the success or failure of the drug company's COVID
So
work.
he's giving this impression that he was shown possibly
Yes.
fake numbers, fake
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
You know, the pharma companies showed me stuff that convinced me to do warp speed, but where is it now? It's not going in. He's kind of laying this foundation that he can kind of, start to go either way on it.
Okay, let me finish the thing and then comment. They show me great numbers and results, but they don't seem to be showing them to many others. I want them to show them now to CDC and the public and clear up this mess one way or the other. I hope Operation Warp Speed was as quote unquote brilliant as many say it was. If not, we all want to know about it and why. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter, President DJT. It's one of those issues where it never made sense from the beginning, where it was like, why is Trump it may be one of his like 4D chess brilliant moves, which is so crazy because it messed with people's lives. So I'm not saying that it's something that he necessarily planned, but if it was a plan, I mean, to try to draw out the enemy, Trump, because we've talked about Trump being sort of the sacrificial lamb for the deep state being exposed. You got to have a guy, and that's even in context with the whole Epstein story here that we're about to touch. But go ahead. Sorry.
Operation Warp Speed, is, according to some research and some researchers, may very well have been a sort of a military operation.
Oh, yeah, truly.
Because of course we know that they were working on these vaccines far before 2020. We know Moderna and others passed around patents for various aspects of COVID-19 and the vaccines, the disease and the vaccines for many years. Very interesting patent trail for all of this. If somebody comes to him, shows him a picture of JFK and says, hey, we need you to get this military operation going. We've been working on it for years. There may be nothing you can do but stand behind whatever. Who knows? But now coming out, laying down this foundation of like, well, they showed me numbers. They don't show anybody else. I don't know why. This is very weird. Hope it was brilliant. But if not, we want to know. And then to put a cherry on it, he shares this little video on his X and it's true.
This is more recently. I think it was today, actually, this morning. 9/8. That is today at around 12. Is that 33? I can't tell. Is it 12:33 p.m.? I wouldn't be surprised. But it's a clip from an old documentary, and I'm not going to play the first few seconds because they don't talk much at the beginning. But it's some old footage of people in the lab, and the audio's not great. But here's some of it now.
Just real quick,
go ahead.
for those who are just listening, up at the, it's kind of a video in meme format, and so
Right,
there's some text at the top of the frame. It says they're all poison. And
Yes.
down at the bottom says every single one. So it's
Yes.
not just like you found a clip. Like this is
This is tailored.
This
This
meme
is-
that was made, put together for psychological effect, by who knows who. But yeah, being shared by the president.
Yep.
Show them the thymerisol bottle, which we keep in a metal container because we're a little afraid of it, and it's a very fine powder.
This is thymerisol, which is labeled very toxic, has cumulative effects, can cause damage to the kidneys, to the respiratory system, skin, to the nervous system. Specifically warns on here that it can cause reproductive and developmental toxicity, meaning that it can cause things like autism and other neurodevelopmental disorders.
Oop.
This is immensely toxic stuff. And this is what's in the vaccine. It's important to realize we're talking about a whole range of products. Vaccines are a big one because, of course, you're directly injecting it. For example, this is tetanus vaccine. This one expires, it's a little outdated now, in 2007. Here's the thymerisol. 1 to 10,000 is a preservative. Perhaps the biggest one in the U.S., at least, that's for exposure to mercury is the influenza vaccine. Influenza vaccine is now recommended for all pregnant women, all infants, all children on a yearly basis. You're supposed
You
to
have last year's influenza? Understand that thymerisol is not added at the end. It's not like, well, that factory next year can make thymerisol free. Thymerisol, you either have to have a thymerisol free factory or you have to not have one. They add thymerisol at each step because the factory is not clean and not sterile. So you either have to have an expensive sterile factory where you don't need thymerisol, or you have to have one that produces thymerisol. It's going to need thymerisol or something the whole time. It needs to be stopped.
This is the influenza vaccine from Adventist Pasteur, their flu zone. Thymerisol, 25 micrograms of mercury per dose.
I'd like to point out that a lot of people didn't know, and I'm one of them. I've given 2,000 RhoGAM shots. I've been in vaccines for 35 years. I didn't know that RhoGAM had thymerisol in it. So I think a lot of the doctors were unaware. They were unaware that even the word thymerisol meant mercury.
Isn't that interesting? It's almost setting up Trump in the same vein, the same context of like, hey, look, I've been in this for a long time. I did not know the details, and now it's wrong. We have to stop it. Interesting.
He's explicitly saying, hey, these doctors didn't even know what thymerisol was. They were actually vaccinating people. They were doing it, and they had no idea until they found out, and now they're changing their heart. I mean, he's posting it as the president of the United States saying, hey, even these doctors didn't know. Okay. How was I supposed to know? And now something needs to be done about it. And I mean, come on. Trump on social media does a lot of crazy stuff, but that, in the context of everything else going on, in the moments before RFK's autism report comes out, when the mainstream media is trying to distract everybody and talk about Tylenol and get everybody worked up about Tylenol. I'm just waiting for the, liberal activists to go, my body, my choice. I can take Tylenol if I want. Trump can't take away my right to have Tylenol while I'm pregnant or whatever, as if they, get pregnant or stay pregnant for very long. That's already against their ideology. But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear what's going to be in that report, and it's pretty clear why the mainstream media, still absolutely funded by big pharma, as much as RFK has said he wants to ban pharma advertising, which is the main funding structure. It's like 70% of mainstream media is kept alive by pharma ads. Even in that sort of situation, the attempt to try to pull all the attention away. It's hard to pull attention away from a topic that Donald Trump is posting about,
Yeah.
You kind of have to fold and talk about it and just talk about how crazy he is. It's like your only answer if you're trying to, whatever, protect against his influence. But
it does feel like a very important point in the entire truth Trump narrative arc, story arc, because a lot of the vaccine issue, it was the one topic that was a buzzing, it was always kind of talked about in the underbelly of conspiracy world. Like, you can't go seek truth stuff without running into vaccine conversation, like in 2007, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, you're talking about in the olden days.
The
back
olden
when-
days, yeah. It was there, but it was never mainstream. It was
Never.
it was almost like, ooh, I'm learning about the secret. It was very taboo to discuss or mention in the public, or public for sure, but even in private conversations. So you
And it
start
was like
learning
more
about
of a
that.
lefty cause too.
Well, I
Even
didn't get
in the
that. Maybe that came
yeah,
later,
okay.
but it did turn into that, which is, I think, why I kind of didn't like some of that in the middle of, when I started to make more content and stuff, is I didn't necessarily want to go down that road, not because it was liberal, but because I wasn't sure what was going on with that. It just seemed like, yes, it's an issue. But I mean, certainly we did warn about scenarios that played out in certain ways that
Right.
turned out to be correct. But yeah, man, it all seems to be, even with the RFK Jr. story arc. If you're talking about QAnon and planting seeds about the Kennedy bloodline in general in politics, 2016 Kennedys weren't necessarily. It's been a while, right? It had been a while since a Kennedy did anything publicly in some kind of major position, and
Mhm.
so even that uh, uh, story arc with the vaccines coming to a head right now, and it feels very like blah, if, because for years it's like, man, if you talked about this moment 10 years ago and said, hey, there's a point, president's going to come, Kennedy's going to get in there as the health guy, and they're going to start exposing all this nonsense with vaccines and the corruption and the whole big pharma, all of it, and it's starting to take place, and it's almost like, yeah.
Oh, that's how everything is. I mean, all
It's
of
so
this stuff.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
just so wild. It's bizarre to me.
the psychological warfare to overwhelm, uh, you know, people, even those, especially those trying to pay attention to, insert despair in sort of
Yeah.
every aspect.
Black pill everything. If you can't blue pill them, then black pill them. They just
Yeah, I mean, similar to things like, I think you covered it before, but Trump sort of hinting about taking away gun rights from trans people,
right.
and
Yeah.
how transness is in the DSM-5. It's a mental
Yep.
disorder, but then the NRA comes out and says, no, we support gun rights for everybody. Don't take away guns from trans people. And then you have Democrats saying, yay, guns. And it's sort of like insane. I mean, again, back to Trump as a chaos magician. I mean, every single step of this is just absolutely tailored for some masterful sort of chaos magician plan where he just continues to come out on top, which I think, it seems
That's
like
the thing that's crazy to me. This was because it seemed for a while that because he had turned off a good portion of his following with this particular issue of vaccines and the Operation Warp Speed, it kind of was a turnoff for a certain group of people. But this little move, it's almost like this was the only way out. It's the only move he can make. But then if he is able to pull this one off and maintain his status as in people's minds like the greatest president in American history or whatever it may be, man, well done, well done on the move, the magician's move.
It's
spots
interesting.
around.
It just happens to be, we don't actually like sort of focusing on Trump very much,
I don't like it
his
at all.
personality as a news story, every word he says as a news story, this feel like that's actually been a pretty effective way to burn people out, to of course people will craft their entire identity and their entire political ideology just around the personality of Trump, the word Trump. It doesn't even matter if they're Democrat or Republican. It's more, well, what do you think of Trump? And so, playing into that, that's not what we want to do. We don't think that's very helpful. It just happened to be that some of the biggest things happening in various categories we like to follow happen to be so directly related to the personality of Trump. And it's important to remember that, as much as we kind of can get tired of talking about Trump and just get overloaded with Trump talk, that because of who he is, the office he holds, even sort of
the
archetypal
tentacles
or spiritual kind of weight that he or weaponry almost that he represents in people's minds and hearts. But with the stories over the past few days, they do just happen to be sort of surrounding him. But what I love is it's not necessarily just around his personality.
Right.
And
He's an octopus. He puts his tentacles in all these different areas, and it's almost inevitable. All the biggest stories have him in there as part of the story.
The trick is to identify when he's being inserted into the story for some purpose, or whether his presence in the story really is important. Because of course the mainstream has made all their money recently on going, oh, there was a shipwreck in Antarctica because Trump. Oh, there was a fire in the forest because Trump did it. And speaking of which, there's been some interesting updates on the Epstein
I was gonna say there's some stuff breaking, Basil.
Yeah, so this is some interesting stuff here. We're gonna talk about a little about Epstein and Trump and etc. And this is brought to us by executive producer Gingah. Thank you very much.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
All right, so I'm seeing you have the breaking news story where allegedly the letter that was written to Jeffrey Epstein from Donald Trump, that it was the may every day be a perfect little secret or something, his little birthday thing. I see you have the headline up there. Allegedly, it has been revealed, and they have a photo of it, and they are mainly pointing out that is his signature down at the bottom. But are you able to enlarge that letter there? Can you click on that and make that bigger? Is that possible? Because I'm looking at it. And look, I don't care if this is his or it's not. I think it's interesting. It's a little bit out of, it's just very strange the way that they were not releasing this letter, not releasing the image when they were reporting on it. They were just saying it was just some guy named Donald. They seemed like they were just assuming that it was Donald Trump and that the whatever. But they released this image here, and it does. You go down to the bottom. It does have what looks to be Donald Trump's signature, but it does just say Donald. It's his kind of scribbly up and down, kind of looks like a heart monitor signature that we've commented on the signing every bill with Sharpie with a permanent marker.
A magic spell of his signature.
Auditory, right. It has this auditory, almost hypnotic aspect to it when you listen to it. But I've never seen him. I mean, there would be no reason why I would have seen it, but he does just sign this thing Donald and not Donald Trump.
Maybe that's what you're supposed to do in those circles. You can't give away the whole. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess his signature gives it away, but
it is weird. I don't know.
Maybe that was a little mistake on Mr. Donald there.
And speaking of little mistakes, we're going to play this clip. This has been a very interesting update. This is Mike Johnson responding to some questions from reporters here. This is Speaker of the House Mike Johnson.
But Trump called it a hoax yesterday.
What Trump is referring to is the hoax that the Democrats are using to try to attack him. He has never said or suggested or implied. I've talked to him about this many times.
It comes across as calling the whole thing a hoax.
It's been misrepresented. He's not saying that what
Can you pause it real quick?
Is a hoax.
Yeah, this is actually very interesting. He is pointing something out that is really obvious to anybody who's paying attention, but you get to see the sort of media's deceptive nature. They keep saying that Trump is saying that everything Epstein is a hoax, meaning Epstein didn't do anything bad, that the whole thing is a hoax. It's fake. He thinks that it's all sort of made up, which of course, you actually look what he says. No, he's obviously not saying that Epstein as a topic is a hoax, but that the 4 years, 5 years now of sort of Democrat controlled intelligence agencies, calling the documents, the various evidence that hasn't been destroyed, the things that have survived the burn bags, of which they found a bunch of burn bags or whatever, so I don't know if that needs to be reiterated, but this is the first time I've seen anybody, in the administration actually address that. But we can continue here.
Okay.
Folks, it's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
There it is. He says that
FBI informant.
Trump was an FBI informant to try to take down Epstein.
You can see too. He's kind of going. He's rambling. He's on a roll, and then he finds.
He felt the tug. He felt the tug of whatever conscience that remains.
Yeah, he starts getting sort of halting. You can see he starts looking around. He's sort of side-eyeing. He looks at the camera. He looks right at the camera after he says it. He realizes what he just said on camera. Back it up a couple of seconds. It is a little quiet on my side. I see you trying to turn it up.
Is. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully people listening RSS are okay.
Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy.
Mike Johnson coming out and saying that Donald Trump was an FBI informant to try to take down Epstein. This is very interesting.
This is a bombshell. This is breaking news.
It's also
we knew all along. We knew all along he was an informant.
It's
we
interesting.
Just couldn't tell everybody. Yeah,
I was trying to recall if that seemed like something that we would have thrown out before,
but it was a Hail Mary. It was a blind swing. If we did, it was, it wasn't in any kind of logical.
No.
Context.
I mean,
it was in a complete absurd.
Just in the context of trying to understand his stances on things,
Right.
By the way, the link that we had in the doc for this was.
I know. There's a reason. There's reasons for everything, Basil. I say things at one part of the show, and it may appear to mean something, but it also means another thing for another part of the show.
That was a mistake. This one's a mistake.
Yes.
I put the right one in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so this idea, okay, he is an FBI informant on Epstein. You start thinking back, you start remembering, Trump getting edgy and asking Pam Bondi if his name appears in the Epstein documents, having FBI agents sift through all the Epstein documents and looking for Trump's name to appear, things like this. The idea that Trump was an informant, or the possibility, or the whatever, I'm not going to take it as truth right now, but the possibility that he was an FBI informant, that would mean his name is all over these documents,
all over it.
Yeah, right. And would be all over the place going, and Trump implicated all of his
Donald. No. Codename Donald.
Donald. Right. Yeah. And there's also the backstory. I think it comes up maybe in this article, but the backstory that's gotten a lot of play lately, it was the real estate war that Trump and Epstein had gotten in 2004 or something, where they both wanted, as the story goes, there was a Florida property, Palm Beach property or something that Epstein liked, and it was like $40 million. And Epstein goes to Trump and says, "Hey man, look at this property. Isn't this a great property? I think I'm going to buy it. I'm going to see if I can look around, get the money to buy this property." And Trump goes, "Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful property. Okay, go for it." And the next thing you know, Epstein turns around and Trump had bought the property out from under Epstein. And the story goes that they, kind of were kind of at war for a little bit because Trump swooped in and messed up this deal for Epstein.
Speed matters.
You gotta act, and you can't be telling your rich buddy about this great property you want to buy.
Can't be sharing screenshots. You gotta pull the trigger. You gotta do the thing first.
after that deal, that friendship gone sour is, when Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago and things started kind of turning, and possibly this is when Trump started, informing on Epstein. Possibly, who knows? Now,
But it's funny to think that, and I guess Donald Trump would be the only person. I mean, maybe I can think of a few more, and maybe that's just part celebrity culture. Who knows how much of informant was going on with certain celebrity types? But the thought of Donald Trump becoming an informant for the FBI and his cover is, I'm Donald Trump. That's his entry into a continued relationship with Epstein. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious.
Well, and it's interesting. It's a good point. I think you made a point before the show. It does stand to remember that just because you're an FBI informant doesn't mean that you're, not guilty of something. Often that's how.
Oh, the lines are blurred. That's what all those movies are about. The lines are blurred. What's the identity of this individual? What is what's the job? What's the person?
Well, often how they're able to convince people to become informants is, hey, we're the FBI. We know
you're already in it. Yeah, you're in it.
Whether either in it or in something or whatever, hey, you got these tax problems, or we know you did this other thing. You filled out a mortgage form incorrectly, but we're going to turn our eyes, and we won't get you for that if you help us with this other thing. That's always, a possibility and is a common thing with informants. Now, Mike Johnson obviously surprised himself by saying he was an FBI informant on live television or on camera.
Yes.
So we want to know now. It went a few days, actually. It went a few days without any response from Mike Johnson. He didn't come out and say, I didn't mean to say that, or I didn't say that, or, oh, you misread what I said. He was completely silent on it for quite a few days.
Took it like a man. Just sat there with it. All these people in his ear. He probably was like, nope. Let it brew. Let it brew.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, getting instructions from the big guy.
Yeah.
So yesterday, the Washington Post had this headline. It says, Johnson backs off claim that Trump was an FBI informant in Epstein case. Okay, so he's backing off.
Okay.
Is Washington Post, remember. House Speaker Mike Johnson on Sunday backed off his claim that the President Donald Trump was an FBI informant in the case of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. While Trump has said that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, his members-only club in Florida, he has also recently called the latest demands for the release of more information on the Epstein case a Democrat hoax that never ends. Now, this is again, weird sort of twist of this by the Washington Post. They say that Trump is calling the demands for the release of information a hoax, which is a really creative new way to apply.
It's definitely some uncharted intellectual property that they ventured into to put their flag down.
Oh, you want more information? You're a hoax, by the way. They did, I think you reported, they did release 33,000 documents last week. Is a perfect number. Most of which was stuff that was already out there, some new stuff, but nothing too exciting. But no, it's a hoax, Guns. If you want more information, you're a hoax. Last week, Johnson told reporters on Capitol Hill that Trump cares deeply about the crimes Epstein committed and said that Trump, quote, was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. On Sunday, his office released a statement modifying that claim.
Modifying? Okay.
Not on camera. This is a statement released by the office to modify the claim. Here's the modification. Quote, the speaker is reiterating what the victim's attorney said, which is that Donald Trump, who kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, was the only one more than a decade ago willing to help prosecutors expose Epstein for this for being a disgusting child predator. The statement from Johnson's office.
Hold on. That doesn't seem like a what do they a modified? Okay, okay,
Backing
maybe a
off,
modification, but not a
not much of
backing
a
off.
backing off. He's
No,
not
this is not a back off.
backing off. He's
Modify,
just
maybe, but
just
back
says
off.
he's reiterating what the attorney told him, the victim's attorney, which is more than a decade ago, Trump was willing to help prosecutors to expose Epstein. Okay, so Trump did help the prosecutors expose Epstein. Now, they didn't say if or where the FBI was involved in this. They didn't mention the FBI in this statement, but he did say that Trump helped the prosecutors get at Epstein. The statement from Johnson's office read, Trump and Epstein were one-time friends who had a falling out. This is back to Washington Post. Particularly a fight between the two in 2004 over buying an oceanfront property in Palm Beach, Florida, which Trump went on to win. Democrats and a small number of Republicans are pushing for the passage of legislation called the Epstein Files Transparency Act that would compel the Trump administration to release more documents about Epstein and his sex trafficking operation. Now, this part of it's really annoying because, trying to release more information, telling Trump to release information. Trump tells a grand jury to release the information. The grand jury says, no, we're not going to release the information.
Yes, the football just keeps getting.
That's almost a pointless thing to even pay attention to. I'm going to skip it in this article here. And then it does mention another story that happened at the same time, which was about a dozen of Epstein's accusers gave emotional testimony last week outside the U.S. Capitol about the abuse they suffered from Epstein and his jailed associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. During the event, Brad Edwards, an attorney who represents many of the victims, told reporters that Trump has done an about-face on Epstein since 2009. Okay, so if Trump is calling it a hoax now, an about-face of that seems to be helping prosecutors in 2009. Edwards said that when he spoke to Trump in 2009, Trump was friendly to the victims' plight and did not think it was a hoax and was trying to help. Again, he's not saying.
Yes, the way they use hoax is really annoying. But yes, continue.
Yeah, it is. And now it seems like all of a sudden somebody is in his ear and he's not, Edwards said, quote, so I'm hoping he'll come back to where he was back in 2009.
Make America great again.
Be on the side of victims and stand
Let's make
with
it
us.
like 2009. What a great year, 2009, year after the economic crash. I mean, what a wonderful time.
Edwards on Wednesday did not say whether Trump cooperated with investigators in 2009, but he did note that Trump, quote, helped his efforts against Epstein at the time.
Did you play basketball, Basil? No, I just went to a place with lines on the ground and put a ball inside of a basket.
Yeah, right.
I did not play basket. What is this basketball? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. And again, with the media, you got to keep in mind, writing an article, say, Edwards didn't say he went and played basketball, but Edwards said he went to the basketball court and threw basketball in a hoop.
Threw a ball, threw a ball around. Happened
the
to go
first
in.
half of that thing, you just throw out the window. There's no reason for it to be there.
Yeah.
Quote, he got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Edwards said, our investigation
Hold on, wait. The definition of an informant is one that gives information, one who informs against others, an informer, or one who furnishes linguistic or cultural information to a researcher. So that would qualify if you're giving, what is this? Told me things. That is information.
Yeah, he just said Edward on Wednesday did not.
It's not information. They were just things.
Did not say whether Trump cooperated with investigators in 2009. Next paragraph. He got on the phone and told me things helping our investigation. Washington Post. Wow, you're breaking my brain, dude. This is what I'm talking about. It's just so powerful the way they can break your brain with 2 seconds.
Oh, so funny.
Okay. Edwards said our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then. So there you go. You get
okay. All right.
He wasn't being looked into. He was just helping us. That's at least
just helping. Sure.
Edwards' office didn't respond Sunday to a request for comment. Yeah, no kidding. After the way you just presented his past comments, I would ignore you too. The White House on Sunday insisted in a statement, Trump, quote, has always been committed to justice and transparency for the victims, quote. That's why the Trump administration is releasing thousands of pages of documents and complying with oversight requests, said the White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson, referring to the inquiry being conducted by the House Oversight Committee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it goes on. So there you go. Mike Johnson saying Trump was an FBI informant. So far, no official confirmation that he was an FBI informant, but was certainly informing the investigators and the investigation. Who was doing the investigation? Was it the FBI? Because it sounds like he would be an FBI informant if that was the case. I don't know. But again, was this an accident? Or is it building a foundation very similar to his sort of vaccine comments recently?
Right.
It's very interesting to pull out and see the broad scope of things.
It does feel like there's a lot of ground shaking around, and he's doing his best dance. Like he's like the best dancer when it comes to the shifting around of the tectonic plates of geopolitics and beyond. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this Epstein stuff as we always do. You know, we always touch on it. It just seems like one of those stories. Yeah. That's
only the important stuff. I'm very proud of us for ignoring the labyrinthian sort of back and forth over the past month or two, because gosh darn was it annoying trying to sift through the just insane back and forth over the past couple of months about this.
I do want to just mention real quick, because one of the things when you were out there, the White House did say the Department of Defense is now the Department of War.
Oh, that's great.
War.
I love it. I'm in it, baby. Let's go. Department of War. I think it's so funny, too, because there are some people like, oh, he named the Department of Defense to the Department of War. It means he's getting ready to go to war. It's like,
no, the name caught up to what it is.
Yeah,
the name is more appropriate for what it is.
Just being honest, as usual. He's just exposing sort of the truth behind things.
Well,
and again, not saying in like a super clever white hat way. That's not how I'm saying it. I'm saying it in like the Marina Abramovich way, saying he's a
chaos magician.
That is revealing all the hidden things out of this sort of self-interest. Calling it the Department of War, I mean, that is
with big red bold letters and swirling red design behind it. I mean, it's a very provocative.
It's beautiful.
Piece,
it's beautiful. Yes. And for those who don't know, it was called the Department of War before what was it? Like 1960 or something? It was, Department of War was the original name. But Pete Hegseth is stoked. You know, he's like, yes, I'm the Secretary of War now. Yeah, it's cool. Does it mean we're going to war? Yeah, probably. But were we going to war before that anyways? Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I think? I think it's psychological for sort of other countries. I don't think this is for people, you know, I don't even think it's for domestic. I think it's a posturing to put a little bit more weight behind what Trump is saying. I think putting a little bit more weight behind what he's doing in Venezuela, what we're seeing in Brazil.
Yeah. There's stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Not bringing to the show today, but yeah, there's some crazy developments there.
Continuing to posture all over the world and like, you know, not afraid to use the
flex
military in like a blatant way. Again, not that other presidents didn't do this, but he's just not doing it in a weird, sneaky sort of underhanded way. It's just like, yeah, we have a Department of War. What are you going to do?
Well, this is also right around the time that Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim Jong-un met for their little military parade where the three of them got together. So it could be one of those, it could be like signaling to them like, oh, you guys are getting together like the Department of War, you know, like just get out of my way. We'll see. But this is, it is interesting. It does create a lot of conversation, I think, for people though, to dig into some of this stuff and how it works, all the The power of words, really. If you think about a chaos magician and how magic works with a lot of this is, memery and language and the power with words and
Renaming
wielding
is a big
words. Renaming is a huge part of it. It's been his whole tactic this presidency so far. I am very curious, Basil, if the Federal Reserve will be renamed, because one of the most well-known conspiracy tropes is the Federal Reserve is neither federal nor a reserve.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if him going out there wearing a hard hat with Jerome Powell trying to justify like a $3 billion renovation of a building or whatever. All that stuff was a few weeks ago. But I am wondering, like, if there's something coming down the pike.
What's that
for
guy's
the whole
name?
thing.
The Secretary of Commerce or something that starts with an L is his last name.
Not Leibowitz. What is it?
Not Scott Bessent, but the other guy.
Right. He's part of the Epstein file too, isn't
Yeah,
he?
right. That's kind of what I wanted to make a connection real quick.
Yeah, he's
Commerce Secretary.
Hold on, I'm trying to
Starts
remember
with
the
an L.
name.
Somebody in chat get it. Lutnick. Howard
Lutnick. Yes, he said the GDP of America is going on the blockchain, baby. It was
So Howard Lutnick is currently seems to be the operator. Man, I don't know if I want to. We should do a whole thing about this. So, yeah, you talk about taking out the Federal Reserve. This is a very difficult thing, not something that one can just do.
know. Yeah,
Lutnick coming out. Their whole plan with the stable coins will allow the U.S. government at least to start exchanging value outside of the Federal Reserve system. So it's this kind of workaround to take out the Federal Reserve. Let's do it. We can do like a fuller breakdown later. But Howard Lutnick is the guy who was just coming out and tweeting about the Federal Reserve, tweeting about all this kind of stuff. He's the one who came out and made all the announcements about getting rid of income tax and this and that. So he bought a house from Jeffrey Epstein in New York.
His
penthouse. What is up with these guys in real estate? Like, you would be tempted to say, like, oh, just because someone bought a house doesn't mean that blah blah blah. Like, no, with these guys, real estate is everything. Like,
no, it's where they park their money, and it's land grab.
Wars. They fight wars with one another by buying houses out from under each other, or they pay each other by selling each other houses. Like, it's just so bizarre. But yeah, Lutnick, a lot of weird Epstein connections. But he is the one. He is the one, talking about getting rid of things like income tax and the Federal Reserve and instituting this whole global stablecoin revolution, which is not good. I'm like, for us, this is bad for individuals, but it is this like really sneaky way to just disconnect the will of the American government as far as moving money and spending money, doing it outside of the Federal Reserve System. It's very interesting.
Let it rain. Where's the golden age? I'm sure this was part of what Trump's been always talking about, the golden age. So much winning. And actually, yeah, there are some, there's an individual. We don't have to do the whole thing here, but I did have somebody share with me recently, Putin's advisor, Kobyakov, is saying that the U.S. has devised a crypto scheme to erase its massive debt at the world's expense. Quote, the U.S. is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember the size of their debt, $35 trillion. These two sectors, crypto and gold, are essentially alternatives to the traditional global currency system. Washington's actions in this area clearly highlight one of its main goals, to urgently address the declining trust in the dollar. And he goes on and on here. Other world leaders like in Russia are starting to call out, which, by the way, that's been the thing the whole time. It's not like it's strange, because if you think about the Bitcoin narrative, that's what it was. It was like the old system is dying. We must get rid of it. We must create an alternative thing. And now that it's happening, some of the traditional folks are like, they're going outside the system to try to save themselves. And it's like, that was like the whole thing. That was
always the plan. There's always no way. I mean, the whole dollar debt system, there is no way out.
Just spiraling out. Yeah, that was the only thing you can do.
And people are starting to get it now. I mean, again, the reports, we talked about it with Mel and Aaron. even the government's own internal reports are saying, yeah, that 37 trillion in debt thing, that's not quite right. We don't actually know how big the debt is, but we're going to guess it's somewhere around 150 trillion. This $37 trillion debt is just kind of a marketing number.
Right.
And so
It's marketing.
the fact is
It's marketing for more money to keep us moving forward.
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
kind of
man.
like a narrative number, the 37. Plus, it got them, they got to say it was 33 trillion. They got to signal last year, when they got to the 33 trillion, the whole thing. Yeah. I mean, the system is so absolutely done for. There's no way out of the spiral. There's not. You just have to switch over to a different system.
Switch over. And by the way, gold hitting all-time highs over the last week or so. And just to keep in mind, just to put aside whatever, the world that we're living in is so wild and crazy, right? We already know that. But just to imagine that a PDF document from 2009, Basil, right, when the whole Epstein stuff was going down with Trump, a PDF document in 2009 is now the 8th biggest asset in the world, and that's Bitcoin. Just about to take out silver, and of course, silver and gold going crazy in value. Things like Nvidia and Microsoft tanking. It does seem a little too convenient, does it not, for a PDF document to go from somebody's computer to all of a sudden it is the escape hatch for what is a absolutely horrendous circumstance that we're in when it comes to the fiat denominated dollar system that controls
Interesting
and
how that
operates
works
the world.
out.
Interesting how that's and it's at the helm of, with Bitcoin, it's at the helm of something that is not even old enough to get a driver's license, Basil. It is only 15 years old or 16 years old or whatever. I guess 16 you're able to get a whatever. But
16-year-old PDF document that has
it's taken over the global asset list.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the world we're living in. Praise God that we get to see it, because man, this is if anything, it's much more entertaining in a certain way than what maybe some people had experienced in the past. So enjoy it, folks. Don't let it bring you down. There's joy to be found in all this. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, we've got another story here. It's going to come from our executive producer, Sir Jamie. Thank you, Sir Jamie.
Sir Jamie.
It's another wonderful opportunity to play that Space Pope Reptilian jingle.
Space Pope Reptilian.
Gotta love it.
Yes. abcnews.go.com. Headline: Pope Leo the 14th declares teen computer whiz Carlo Acutis the first millennial saint. It is official. We have a millennial saint in the Catholic Church. Pope Leo.
This is kind of like an Operation Warp Speed for this sainthood thing. Doesn't it usually take like 100 years or something for somebody to?
This is an emergency. We are in a declining population. We need some good influencers out there. Literally influencers. Pope Leo the 14th declared a 15-year-old computer whiz the Catholic Church's first millennial saint Sunday, giving the next generation of Catholics a relatable role model who used technology to spread the faith and earn the nickname, quote, God's influencer. Leo canonized Carlo Acutis, who died in 2006 during an open-air mass in St. Peter's Square before an estimated 80,000 people, many of them millennials and couples with young children. During the first saint-making mass of his pontificate, Leo also canonized another popular Italian figure who died young, Pier Giorgio Frassati. I wonder what his thing was. What year was his whole deal? Pier Giorgio Frassati. Leo said both men created, quote, masterpieces out of their lives by dedicating them to God. Quote, the greatest risk in life is to waste it outside of God's plan, Leo said in his homily. The new saints, quote, are an invitation to all of us, especially young people, not to squander our lives, but to direct them upwards and make them masterpieces, end quote.
I mean, honestly, you get to a degree. I am not a Catholic, but if I were a Catholic, even, I'm just not even that. He's not wrong about that.
He's not wrong about it.
In this world where, gosh, gosh darn, these poor young kids, man, it is just nasty out there, and they're nasty to each other, and they're nasty to themselves, and we're seeing this huge wave of mostly Gen Z men, but the gals are not far behind, turning towards traditional belief systems that include the Catholic Church, the Orthodox Church, among others. The Protestants are getting their own little revival as well. Just looking for something, just goodness gracious. I mean, even again, we talked about the weird. Maybe we didn't talk about it. Maybe I talked about it on Clubhouse. I think somebody maybe asked about it. I don't know. Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago. Oh gosh, time is a flat circle. The whole Nick Fuentes thing popping off, and this young guy, 26, kind of this disruptor in right-wing media or whatever. You see some of his clips. Even he is now. Look, I always find it interesting how various Christians will sort of present themselves in public, but whether or not he presents himself in a way others would find Christ-like, he sure talks about Christ a lot, and he talks about Christianity a lot, and he talks about God a lot, more than I think he used to. Not that I really caught up.
You're talking about Nick Fuentes specifically.
Nick Fuentes, right.
Yeah.
And as the sort of premier, real Gen Z sort of conservative guy, to make it like a regular part of conversation does show up. It doesn't seem to even be like a token mention anymore. It shows a very interesting shift. And so, if I were Pope, I'd probably start looking for some role models or some venerated figures that young people could identify with, just to show that, like, hey, look, you can do it. They did it. You can do it. Let's go. Focus up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is interesting, though, the way they use the deceased, especially with sainthood. How do you get the word out of a young, relatable influencer? You can't do it in the now, so to speak. Like, it's hard to create that level of mythology for anybody who's currently alive. That's that
veneration.
Young.
It's kind of required.
Veneration. It's almost required that they're gone, because it creates that space for imagination and mythology, myth making, all that stuff.
Right.
I could see your point about how it's probably not the worst thing for the human civilization the next few years for young, fresh believers in God to have some kind of roadmap for what it means to sit around on a computer or online and conduct yourselves in a manner that's appropriate, and helpful and useful and glorifying to God ultimately. So I can see that that's a positive thing. But also, the other side of it is sort of the spiritual thing. Like, can people, I don't know how this all works. Are people able to pray to him now, or what is the official?
I don't know. I'm looking at the chat. It looks like we've got a few ex-Catholics who are sounding off in the chat there. Dove and
Let us
Nancy.
know.
I think there is some praying to the saints. It's asking the saints to intercede for you. So asking the saint to pray for you or to bring.
Right. And this saint, he would know. Saint Acutis knows, and he understands when people.
Yeah, somebody's got to
get 2 likes on my post, and
somebody's got to speak Gen Z directly to God. Somebody's got to translate Gen Z speak straight to the Father.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, so there you go. It goes into his story and just his background and everything else. But
we actually covered him when he was being considered.
I do recall. Yes. It says here, quote, he becomes an emblem or model of how Catholics should approach and use the digital world with a discipline and with a focus on traditional Catholic spirituality that defies the passage of time. He said in a statement, quote, He is a new saint of simplicity for the ever complex digital landscape of contemporary Catholicism. You know, I didn't do a full breakdown of it last episode, but I did have in my notes, I was preparing to talk about how in America, Protestantism is continuing to die, which aligns with our observation about more people going back to the Catholic Church or to Orthodox Christianity. And not that, we're not necessarily like raising the flag of Protestantism or anything like that. And that word itself is it's got its own op,
Right.
in America, especially. You got to be really specific about what you're talking about when you say that word.
Right.
But I do notice that there is a decline there because it's been kind of sucked into evangelicalism and sort of like the government stuff. I don't know. It's just a whole mess with that. It's politicized and whatnot. But I am curious to see how, as time goes on, religion, or specifically Christianity, is used in this country. And Nick Fuentes, you bring him up, it does, to me, represent a post splitting of the Judeo-Christian ethic in America ethos, where, as we've been saying for a while, that the Judeo-Christian narrative, that the narrative that Judeo-Christianity is the foundation of this nation, will begin to splinter and break off. And certainly we've seen that take place in the last year. And we've seen, the current president show its loyalties to one side or the other. And we see a lot of young people go against that apparatus in a sense. Even if all of them are under the umbrella of conservatism, there seems to be a generational rift when it comes to certain issues. So I think that this is right in line with it when it comes to good marketing for the Catholic Church, because clearly they're seeing a rise in numbers. It's probably, and they're seeing a lot of young people. So it's, they're pushing their data into some AI somewhere, maybe not the Pope himself, but somebody is, and they're saying that this might be a good idea. So I am very interested to see how the saint, is used in digital media as the medium for sainthood in the 21st century, especially of this type, because who knows, he might proceed his live in the digital world in a certain way that is not expected or unfamiliar to us up until this point, which can easily suggest a type of image of the beast scenario or whatever. So
yeah, it'd be interesting move if AI got involved and they did because he did have so much online content spreading the good word of Catholicism, they make a AI version, what's his name, a QT GPT.
Mm-hmm.
You can just go chat with the saint yourself.
Oh yeah, yes, I forget the name of it.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah, I forget.
Okay.
Which, by the way, do you remember when Pope Francis, before he passed away, he opened the gates of the portal? Did they close those portals yet, or are they?
Yeah, they're still open.
Still open.
Portals
Okay.
are open. Right. Yeah,
portals are open, and we got millennial saints.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to take a second and thank everybody who joined the Canary Cry text message alert system while I was gone. It was nice to come back and see a nice group of people. What did they do? Well, they took out their phone, they opened their text messages, and they texted the word canary to 877-740-3226. This is a great way to get connected, to stop relying on YouTube or notifications from your platform. When we go live, we know that only happens to about 2% of the followers. If you're following any YouTube channel or other thing like that, it's pretty rare that you're going to get the notifications. So don't let the algorithms, don't let the YouTube robots decide if and when that you're ever going to get to tune in and watch the show live. All you got to do is text the word canary to 877-740-3226. We'll just send you a little text before we go live, so you can make a choice. Get to a quiet location. Make sure to stop driving. Pull over to the side of the highway so you can tune in and watch and participate in the show. The other fun part is you can actually text us at that number, whatever you want. We can't text you back because it's very expensive for us to do that. But we see your text. We love your text, and it's a great way to make sure that you stay connected. keep an ear out for, some people texting in from your area code, because there's lots of people finding the fact that there are other Canarians near them through this text message alert system. Shout out to 678, who called out my spelling of the word there. I used the wrong there
Wow.
in today's text, which is very embarrassing. And thank you, 678, for making sure that I have to live with that mistake. Let's see here. 541 says, welcome home, sweetheart. Thank you very much. Glad to be here. 580 said, take away the trust in Tylenol and they'll question the whole system if cognitive dissonance doesn't strike first. Yeah, that's a tricky thing, that cognitive dissonance all the time. 678 says, Levy Brothers, bring the noise. Thank you. DJ Chunky B is on the mix. Very cute picture of a very cute baby. Little canary in there. 604, this was a strange one, and I just want to say it because this was not a response to today's text message, but it was sent before I sent it, and it was during the exact moment that Gons and I were discussing doing some more interviews, and 604 said, interview more authors and other people, go back to the better days, God is good. And this came at the exact moment before the show we were discussing this, so that was kind of weird.
I said it was either God intervening himself, or we have an informant and some kind of secret surveillance of our conversations. Yeah. Somebody's surveilling our conversations and knowing when to text us the certain thing that the overlords would like us to do, apparently.
Yeah, so we're going to try to do some more interviews here. Of course, we've got some great interviews coming from the Burning Man Research Project. Keep an eye out for that. But there you go, folks. Text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. And here's a trick. You can text the one word, meetups, MEETUPS, to that same number, and you'll get put on the list to get notifications about meetups that are going on, because we do have a meetup coming up, Gons. Isn't that fun?
Yes, we do. Meetups. Sorry, I was not prepared.
That's okay. I got it
precisely.
Here. Yeah, if we got the meetup thing, I can read it off of the.
There you go. Yep. The Canary Cry, Missouri meetup happening in downtown Rolla, Saturday, September 27th at 1:11 p.m. 111 at Alex's Pizza. And this is, I think I was mentioning how this might be some new Dove art that snuck in here without too much fanfare. But this is,
I don't know if it was an older one or if he did a new one, but
I think it's new because, well, maybe did they do a meetup at Alex's Pizza before?
Well, maybe I don't know. They've done 2 other Missouri meetups.
Yes.
So it could be from a previous one, but I don't know. It's cool either way.
Yeah, it's unfamiliar. Yeah. The box says All Seeing Alex's with the pizza with the one pepperoni covering his eye there. So Illuminatus meetup, and this meetup actually is going to have some well-known Canarians in attendance. So if you're going to make this the one. It'll be a good one.
Yeah, well, you're going to have Mr. and Mrs. Tinfoil Hat Man. You're going to have Patrick Holland from the Missouri Freedom Initiative is going to be there, good friend of the show. I don't have it right in front of me. Do you remember who else? There's going to be someone else. Let me see if I can pull it up. It was in the email that got sent today, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, the Russian handler.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, so go do that, folks. Rolla, Missouri, September 27th, 1:11 p.m. at Alex's Pizza. And if you want to RSVP or make connections, ask questions, or make comments, you can just email canarycrysupplydrop at gmail.com. canarycrysupplydrop@gmail.com. That'll get you in contact with Sir Ike there. So,
and it is National Day of Forgiveness that day on September 27th. So you can go to an Illuminati meeting and have way too much pizza and then forgive yourself for it. National Forgiveness Day. Or you can point to God and say, thank the Lord for forgiving us so we can forgive ourselves of
all sorts of
overeating. There you go.
Okay, and with that, Don,
hold on. Well, There we go. Sorry.
No worries. We're going to thank some producers. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to produce the show while I'm gone here. Gons, you did a great job keeping the show rolling. And what a wonderful experience for those who like to get their podcasts for free and don't like to hear about people supporting it. No producer segments for a couple weeks there. It's a beautiful thing. But especially a big shout out to our executive producers, folks. You know this. We're on the value for value model. We don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels. We do not dabble in the dark arts of advertising and sponsorships, taking money from any interests whatsoever that might get their grimy little claws into what God is doing here. There's been a big conversation going across like 4 or 5 of the biggest podcasts. Everybody is suddenly starting to call each other out for, their funding, their advertisers, their this, their that. And it's just a total
Wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it?
Just a total minefield for podcasts who are, rely on advertising, which God bless them, man. You got to make it work somehow. And value for value is not the easiest way to do it, but it is the easiest way to sleep at night, knowing that we're not participating in sort of the brainwashing, the corporate interests, the dialogue between economy and truth, or economics and truth. We get to just do what the Lord calls us to do here. And it's very simple, folks. If you get any value out of what we do here, you just put some value back in. And it's not all about money. You can put value back in with your time, your talent, your treasure. You can get involved, join one of our teams, put your special skills to work to help out the community and the podcast and the website or whatever. You can hold meetups. That's a great way to add value back to the community as well. If you're an artist or a musician, you can create art, create music, jingles, whatever. Go to canarycry.art. You can upload them there. We'd love to show it on the show. And if all else fails, you can support the show with your treasure. And it's simple. It's easy, folks. You just think to yourself, what value have I gotten from the show? What value do I expect to get from the show? And come in and just support the show for whatever that means to you. You can find all sorts of options and suggestions and resources by going to canarycry.support. Big old shout out to all of our monthly producers who sign up and commit to helping us out every 30 days. It's a huge blessing. And in times such as this, the classic summer slump, if it weren't for the monthly producers, this show would not exist. It's great to set it and forget it. And the conglomeration, the mass of monthly producers who commit and remain a part of the show, not just as listeners, but as producers, goes a really long way to making sure that we don't fall victim to a lot of the issues that many other podcasts are having to deal with now. But another big thank you to all of our executive producers. That's right. The executive producers, they come in, they support the show for $100 or more for any individual episode. And that's why we like to thank them here at the top. And you heard them thanked for individual stories and articles before. But just to run down the list, we have executive producer Amber J.
Amber J. Thank you very much, Amber J.
And Amber J, during August, we had the Canary Cry Amber J Producership Challenge for those who came in, signed up for a monthly producership to keep the show going. Amber J would match that monthly producership every month for 12 months. And I'm happy to say that you, dear Canarians, we got her to the limit. We matched the limit. And so Amber J signed up. She's supporting the show for a couple $100 a month. We really appreciate that, Amber J.
Appreciate
and
it, Amber
big
J.
thank you to everybody else who signed up and made it happen.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much to everybody.
Yeah. We also have executive producer Gingah.
Gingah.
Thank you very much. Coming in for a nice round number, which is another good reminder that if you produce the show in any amount, if you come in on a nice flat round number on the 10 or the 5. That's you telling us not to share the amount, just not disclose it. It's not important. But if you don't mind us disclosing the amount, you just have some fun with the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, put 33 cents on it, 77 cents, 11.11, stuff like that. You choose. But when we see it, something funky like that, we'll disclose the amount. Thank you. Executive producer Gingah coming in, supporting the show.
Thank you, Gingah. Appreciate you.
We have, of course, Sir LX Protocol V2, Baron of the Breen Protocol.
Boom. Thank you very much.
Continues his executive producer streak. He came in for $100 and 33 cents for a couple episodes. And he also came, I see what he did here. Came in for $100 and 33 cents on a continued 4-episode streak. So he's on a 422 episode streak and a 76 episode executive producer streak.
He's one away from perfection
of
executive streaks. That is
perfection.
Executive perfection.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol. Early on, we also had executive producer Felicia D come in.
Felicia D, thank you.
Felicia D. And last but not least, we had executive producer Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
Sir Jamie, thank you very much.
Thank you. That's it for executive producers over the past couple weeks. A nice list to read all at once. Now it is 2 weeks worth here, but we appreciate that. We're still alive. We're still here. And thanks in large part to the executive producers. I did have an announcement, actually, just so everybody knows. We do have a knighting today, Gonzo.
Ooh.
A very special knighting because we'll be knighting Runk Smash. Yes.
A long timer, Runk Smash. This is a long time.
Old school, long time producer Runk Smash, the inventor and progenitor of the microfiction era of the show. Thank you, Runk Smash. He did a great job keeping his accounting sent it in, and it is true. Runk Smash has officially reached the level of knighthood. And if you haven't heard, if you're new to the show or this is news to you, there's something called the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And this is an honored position for any producer who supports the show all at once or over many years for $1,000 or more. The faithful producership of our knights and dames. You will hear many sirs and dames as we refer to various producers. These are all individuals who have supported the show all at once or over many years in the amount of $1,000 or more. They are given an official knight name, a protectorate, and they will show up over there on the website, canarycrynewstalk.com/roundtable. These are the people who have done the most to make sure that this show continues over many years. So Runk Smash, we're excited to knight you a little bit later in the show.
Oh, we're doing it later. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit later. We'll do it after we thank these producers here. Because we got some producers who came in over the past couple of weeks under the executive producer amount, and we'll thank them now, starting with producer Julie S. Thank you very much, Julie S.
Thank you, Julie S.
For a nice round number, says keep praying for your brothers and sisters in the UK, please. Will do. Goodness gracious, the UK is continuing to just be a absolute wild west of dystopian nightmare, but at the same time there seems to be a movement. Have you been watching this flag thing going on over there?
I don't know about the flag thing. I did hear some horrific numbers.
There's like war. I know the numbers are horrible, but there's like a war of the flags going on where more and more and more UK people are waking up. And there's this thing where everybody's waving flags. They're taking back their flag and making it not racist to wave their flag again. It's just this whole huge thing. And so there seems to be a glimmer of hope. People in the UK seem to be standing up and, taking back the sort of, the freedom, autonomy to just be themselves and to be British and to just be proud to be who they are without, having to, go to jail for praying or go to jail for making Facebook posts and having their entire, not just their speech, but also their sort of thoughts criminalized. It's really bizarre. So there you go, UK people. You're doing good.
Yep.
Keep going.
We'll pray. Keep praying for you guys out there.
We had producer Sir Spears, Night of the Desert comes in.
Hey.
Oh yeah, for $23.50. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We had producer Brian S come in for $23.79.
Brian S, thank you.
Thank you very much. We had the American Hobo come in for $23.32.
Hey, American Hobo, thank you very much. Another 33 in there.
Yeah. An American Hobo is on a 38 episode streak.
There we go.
And of course, Cage Rattler Coffee comes in, supports the show.
Cage Rattler Coffee.
I should have mentioned this at the top of the show. I got to remember to do Cage Rattler at the top of the show. My bad. Go to CageRattlerCoffee.com, folks. It is your #1 place to get the best coffee in the metaverse. You know what is really fun? At Camp of the Unknown God, I met an individual who actually started listening to the show because of our participation in the Burning Man episodes. He was there. Wow. He had reached out. He's camping with the Camp of the Unknown God. I actually got to sit down and talk with him. Very interesting fella. I think everybody's going to really enjoy what he has to say. But I show up there. His name's Ryan. Incredible fella. He gave me some quail eggs from his quail. He raises quail and smuggled in a whole thing of quail eggs into Burning Man.
Smuggled in quail eggs.
So thank you very much, Ryan. But he also had some Cage Rattler coffee with him. And he has nothing but incredible things to say about Cage Rattler coffee. You'll hear it in his interview. But yes, Cage Rattler coffee. Check it out.
Cage Rattler coffee. Where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. Cage Rattler coffee is coffee. I mean, look, a lot of other, I don't know, shows or whoever, they have coffee companies. Very, very few, if any, do they personally have a producer of the show volunteer his time, track down, order the beans, small batch, have their own other producer, singular man, roast every single bean, small batch, get packaged up and sent out. This is not a white label, drop shipping service. Each bag of Cage Rattler coffee is lovingly crafted by Canarians just like you, packaged, shipped all along the way. There's no big corporation that even puts their hands on this coffee by the time it gets to you. So it's really a blessing. It is some of the best coffee that is even in existence. That's what I'm told. Look, I'm not a fancy coffee boy, but a lot of Canarians are fancy coffee boys and girls, and they got nothing but the best things to say. But even better, it's value for value, meaning every a piece of every purchase goes to support the show. And of course, a piece of every purchase is also supporting other Canarians. This is true parallel economy. And look, you got to drink the coffee. You're going to be drinking the coffee anyways. Are you going to give your coffee money to some big corporation that gives you rotting, moldy beans and hates everything that you believe in? Or do you want to, keep it in the family of God, that is? Support your favorite show, support real Canarians and their families who are making it happen, all while tasting the best beans in existence. Like, you go over there, check it out, CageRattlerCoffee.com. You got your Nephilim dark roast, you got your Emu Wrangler medium roast, you got beans coming from all over the world, Peru, Nicaragua, what's the other one? Honduras.
Yeah.
I think we have Congo beans now. Go check it out, folks. It's as good as it gets. Plus, you can feel good about every step of the way. CageRattlerCoffee.com.
There you go. Thank you very much.
We got producer Roderick B comes in, supports the show. Nice round.
Roderick B, thank you.
We have producer Anonymous comes in for $33.33 a month, signed up for the supply drop. Thank you very much.
Anonymous, thank you.
All right.
Initiated.
Go to canarycrysupplydrop.com, folks. The deadline for the supply drop got extended, but not for long. So go to canarycrysupplydrop.com. You're just going to be supporting the show for $33.33 a month, which you already want to do. You already feel called to do it. Blessings abound for those who stay focused on what God wants them to do. But every quarter, we'll be shipping you a big old package filled with Canary Cry swag. It's stuff made here right in the United States. Again, all small batch, individual designers, manufacturers, created by producers of the show, designed by producers of the show. Every box is different. You got hats, you got apparel, you got what's the word for accessories, you got survival gear that gets sent out, gardening stuff, GMO free seeds. The list is endless, and you're going to want to sign up because we are approaching Canary Cry calendar season. That's right, fourth quarter Canary Cry supply drop. This is how you get the Canary Cry calendar, folks. This is a beloved and treasured object, chock-a-block full of art from Canary Cry artists. I would say thousands at this point of dates that are marked in this calendar that are important to the show, important to conspiracy stuff, important to biblical stuff. There is literally no calendar out there like this. And so you're going to want to sign up, because missing out on that fourth quarter supply drop really is, that's a fumble you don't want to subject yourself to. So go to canarycrysupplydrop.com. Thank you, Anonymous, for signing up.
Waiting for supply drop.
Did you know somebody put a IMBD or INDB account for Canary Cry News Talk?
No, I did not know this. That's great. That means one of the producers has their IMDb thing and listed their credits. This we should start doing. You and I need to actually pay more attention to this. We got to get on our IMDb, because producing this show, these are official credits. I don't know if everybody understands that or not.
I don't think we've ever really emphasized it enough to get it into people's heads.
Yeah, I used to mention it more, but these are official credits. These are real credits you can put on your resume, you can put on your bios, you can put on your IMDb. You and I need to do what we need to do to flesh out that IMDb, because this is we are officially credited. You can, when you're a producer here, you're an official producer wherever you go. So next up, we've got producer. Oh, this is Dame Frog.
Dame Frog
comes in for a nice round number. It says the Chicagoland meetup was super fun. We forgot to take pictures. Ooh, woo.
Oh,
Ooh,
that means it was really good conversation that you didn't even think to pull out a camera to, stop the flow.
Exactly what that means. Did you show a meetup picture recently?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
What was it? I was trying to remember what
I forget which meetup it was, but yes, it was one of the recent ones. I didn't see a full report. I just saw the photo and like a couple short sentences, I believe.
I saved it and I lost it, but okay, good. As long as you showed it.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got producer Bruce W coming in for 1111.
Bruce W coming in. Ooh, where's my there it is. 1111. Thank you, Bruce W.
And Bruce writes a note, and the note says, I'm writing this note to tell you there's no note. Thank you very much, Bruce.
Hey, that's a note.
This is a note to say there's no note. Next up, we've got producer Heather M comes in.
Heather M, thank you.
Nice round number. And last but not least, we got producer Jacob L. Thank you,
Jacob L. Jacob L. Wow. Jacob
Nancy
L.
in the chat. Why are you saying Jacob L?
Because, Jacob being a biblical character, and then L being, God.
Oh, I see.
L?
Yeah. Shout out to Nancy in the chat that says, yes, I was there. I was at the Chicagoland meetup. Thank you very much, Nancy. Nancy at the Chicagoland meetup. Yeah, but by the way, folks, remember, send us something back from these meetups. Send us a picture, write us a little report. If you're really fancy, turn on the voice recorder on your phone and pass it around. Just have everybody say hi, think outside the cage, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that makes for a good community building here on this show. Because of course, these meetups are very important. Everybody should go to or put on a meetup in their area. It's very simple. Pick a time, pick a place. Let us know about it. We will tell the world, and you can meet some other Canarians in your area. It's all about IRL, folks. It's all about IRL. So you're going to get to meet these people, make friends with them, at least know who is on the level in your area for when things go totally sideways. So there you go. Go to meetups, put on meetups. Missouri on the 27th.
Hey, maybe they can use that fractionalized gold on the Stellar blockchain.
That's right.
The new crypto-backed gold-backed crypto. Yeah.
We got to start taking producerships in gold backs and stuff, especially there at the Missouri meetup where gold and silver is legal tender.
Legal tender. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in over the past few weeks in the amount of $7.77 or more. We got some streakers who keep their streak going, so I'm going to thank them. These are people who came in under $7.77, which does not entitle them to have a note read on the show, but they are keeping streaks going. And some of them are very impressive. So we'll thank them, give them a ding here, and we'll run right through them. Starting with Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, who's on a 170 episode streak.
Wow, what a streak. Thank you.
We got Veronica D on a 509 episode streak.
Veronica D, thank you.
We got Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 556 episodes in a row.
Scott.
We got Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, 562 episodes in a row.
Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Thank you very much to all of you. Wow, that is so many episodes. Most podcasts don't make it that far.
500
producers, that have supported the show for 562 episodes in a row. Unbelievable.
That's incredible. All right, time to night, dear Runk Smash Guns.
Ooh, nighttime. It's nighttime now.
Nighttime. Canary.
Did you see the blood moon? Was your moon bloody last night or was it tonight?
I didn't look. Yesterday was the full moon. I did not see a blood. No.
I didn't. Yeah, it was not very bloody for me either. I don't know what was going on. I thought it was supposed to be really, really bloody. Okay, here we go. Let me get my stuff out. It's been a little while since we had a nighting. It feels like it should be more often.
Dame Frog was the last one. That was about maybe 10 episodes ago, something like that.
Okay, I got my katana here. So. Where's your?
I'm going to use the shiny one today.
Ooh.
All right, we want to call up Runk Smash. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Sir Runk Smash, Knight in 250 characters or less, defender of the semicolons, and champion of the comma. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved Cosmo, the CRISPR cow, and fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, Sir Runk Smash, Knight in 250 characters or less, defender of the semicolons and champion of the comma. And the crowd goes wild. That's right. Remember, folks, to thank God for our Knights and Dames. And if you see them walking down the street, remember to give them the respect they are due. Runk Smash, now Sir Runk Smash, Knight in 250 characters or less. This is a reference to the microfiction limit that we had to put on the microfictions to truly keep them micro. because Runk Smashes were always of the right length, but there were some other producers who were stretching the definition of micro. But considering he's night in 250 characters or less, I don't know if it's the longest night name we've ever had, but it is on the long side. But
very long.
Happy to make sure that Runk Smash knows he is honored and cherished around here. Thank you very much, Sir Runk Smash. And finally, for years we would say, whenever he showed up on the producer list, we would just say Sir Runk Smash.
We'd say, yeah,
because it just felt like, he had been around for so long. But we're very happy to be able to do that. And Runk Smash, he earned every penny of it and worked very hard for a very long time. So thank you very much, buddy.
Is it episode 874 today?
874.
Got it.
You're updating the website right now,
right
away.
now is how it happens. Sir Runk Smash.
There you go. So you can go to canarycrysupplydrop.com/roundtable to see all of the knights and dames and the episode on which they were knighted or damed. You can hear my nose starting to get plugged up again. I'm looking for some nasal spray. It's not here. I'm just going to have to survive. I don't know how I'll breathe and podcast at the same time.
Defender of the semicolons.
Yes. Oh, it's still going. Yeah.
This is very long. Yes. Comma. And champion
of the
comma.
Yeah, see, so there's a little joke in there. Lots of commas, semicolons. That's how you keep microfictions to 250 characters or less, Gons.
I got it. Okay, let's give a little refresher, Rooney. Little F5 action. Does F5 still work to refresh? I don't know. And here it is. Bum, ba, ba, ba. Runk Smash, you have been officially forged on the list.
In the fire.
Thank you very much, Sir Runk Smash.
I have a question for you, Gonzo. Did you do any art while I was gone?
No.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, because I just opened up our art spreadsheet and it had not been, alphabetized since 8/18. We might have a lot of catching up to do on art, Gons. I know we are not prepared today, but looks like we'll have some art to kind of get the momentum going again on the art.
Have I seen any of these?
I'm seeing some fun ones.
There's some good ones for sure.
Jolmes came in a few times. I think Jonathan F. came in a few times.
Oh yeah. You know what probably happened? I'm just being honest. I think there was a lull. No, there was a lull, and I think I got discouraged. There was like a 3 or 4 day lull, and I was like, it's over. And then I just didn't check for a little while. But yeah, we'll catch up. And look at that. There's one from Sir Dove too. I mean, that is the Missouri meetup one. Okay,
it's the Missouri meetup one, but I'm seeing
that one
great ones here. Jonathan F. Jolmes, Elias is back.
Nomen Printe.
Ellie's here.
Anon.
Nomen Printe. Yeah, okay, great. All right, so
we'll get you all. We'll get you all plugged in,
because we need to inspire the artists. There was
I know so many plates.
Been a slow year for art. Been a little slow year for meetups. This is kind of what's going on, and part of it is, look, I'm looking around. I'm, of course, listening, staying up to date on the podcastosphere and trying to stay current on the sort of trend analysis and what we're seeing in culture. And there's a lot of people, a lot of shows, Guns, trying to figure out what to do, trying to figure out sentiment, trying to understand what's needed. I see a lot of news guys sitting back and going, I don't even know if I need it anymore. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know if what I do is like the thing. And we're in luck, Gons, as usual. We may not see it, think it, or feel it at the time, but it always turns out that the Lord has positioned us exactly where we need to be, because we have spent so many years not just doing news, but doing so many other formats for content, whether it's interviews or topical style. I mean, break out to even TJT and Ravel and Face Like the Sun. We've pretty much we've got experience in almost every format you possibly do, which is why we are sitting here, have been asking ourselves this question all year. We've been pretty transparent about that, just really seeking what the Lord, is saying is needed for today. Because, of course, news analysis and stuff is very, very important for quite some time. I mean, especially 2020 through basically this year, we did it. We took down the mainstream media. Like everybody's woken up, and those who are not woken up, they're not gonna be woken up. They're identifying with the sort of mainstream narrative because that's where they belong. That's where they feel safe. They don't want to turn from it.
They're lifelong customers. They got hooked. They're in for the long haul. Yeah, I mean, they got their core audience there.
So you and we've been running some experiments, trying to perfect the show, always trying to stay, malleable, adaptable to what the Canarium needs, what God wants from us. And part of this has included doing surveys. We've been doing surveys, a lot of them. We've done quite a few of them for about 30 episodes. And the current survey has been the same survey, at least since I left, okay? Because we're trying to gather as much data on this as possible, because there is a question. There is a question floating out there, and this is a question that many producers have commented about, asked about, requested that we look into, and that is improving our numbers when it comes to deep dive interview style shows, topical shows, Canary Cry radio style shows. And many people who are avid listeners of Canary Cry News Talk kind of only peripherally know about Canary Cry radio because we're slow to put them out. But for many years before we even started this show, since about 2012, being very enthusiastic about diving in, interviewing researchers, scholars, authors, things like this, diving into just the stuff going on, the weird stuff, the hidden stuff, and perhaps even future stuff. Who knows? But the current survey, which we will move on to a different survey question soon. But if you have not filled out this survey yet, if you have not made your will known, make sure to do this now. At the bottom of this video, wherever you are, in the top of the description, you'll see a survey link. It's tiny.cc/cc, 874? Or is it still?
That's what it is now. I mean,
I don't know.
The link, the actual link. Let me get the actual link, because yes, it was a confusing little period there because I did not want to mess with the
so it hasn't been connected recently. Is that the?
Let's see. It's it's still technically, the link itself is technically CC869. I didn't do anything with it.
Okay, 869. Yeah. Okay, is that what it shows in the description right now?
It's the text for the link says 874, I believe.
Okay, so we do not have access to the survey right now in the description, you're telling me.
Not the official one, but yeah,
I'm just saying, if they click on the link, they're not going to the survey, correct?
No, they should be going to the survey.
Okay.
Yeah, if they click on it, it doesn't matter if they click on it, they will get the survey, but it is labeled episode 869.
Sure. Well, yeah. Okay. I'm good. I want to make sure if they click it, it's there. If they click it, it's there. Good. There it is. You click it, it's there. Go take this survey if you haven't done it yet. This is we're exploring the idea of what it'll take to do more Canary Cry radio episodes, meaning topical, meaning interview style. Previously, Gons would put lots of production into some of these things. I mean, they're really treasures, sort of evergreen treasures. And if you have not made your way through the Canary Cry radio catalog yet, highly recommend you do that. Remember, this is Canary Cry News Talk. That other show is Canary Cry Radio. Are they too similar in name? Yeah, probably. Does it get confusing to some people? Of course it does. But as we step forward into whatever this new world is going to look like, whatever the world needs from us, whatever God's asking from us, whatever the Canarium wants, this is your moment to take that survey. Let us know what you think. Because if that were to be the case, we would probably start doing that very soon. But as we all know, as human beings, we only have so many resources, so much time, so much energy, so much producership to make these things happen. So we got to know, what can we set aside to be able to do this? So go check it out. Take that survey. Survey is very important. Survey is always very important. And I'm keeping track. I'm keeping track of you survey streakers. And that is another thing we're going to start doing more of, a more community of survey takers. So go check it out. Marty K says the link isn't. Whoa, Marty K's here. What's up, Marty K? Sir Marty K.
He's back.
Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's see here. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm hearing some people are telling me that it's not working. Maybe I should go try.
Yeah, go try it because it worked for me. So I don't know. Maybe it's not working for other people.
It might not work for Marty K because he's in
Marty Kville.
Marty Kville. Yeah. They have them locked down in Marty Kville. Let's go here. I'm going to go like this. Yeah, I'm going to click on the button. Here I go. Click on button. No, Gons, that doesn't work. In YouTube, really? No, because in YouTube it says tinycc/cc874. 874. If you're not going in and changing the link,
I did change the link.
Just slow down, Gonzo. Are you logging in? You are not logging in to our
no
URL maker, right?
No, I am not.
Okay. So if you're not going into the URL maker, then you are not making the URL, which means the link is not being made. So no, this link does not work. We will need to change it. So I will say this. Let me get to the real link. It'll be tiny.cc. I'm gonna just actually open up.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I know what the problem is. In the document where we create it, it is hyperlinked to tiny.cc/cc869.
Right.
But because the text, I forget that because when we copy and paste stuff here, it's not hyperlinking.
No, it's not hyperlinking in a description.
So that's my bad. I shouldn't have changed the text. That's my fault.
No, but it's okay. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna connect it right now. Is what I'm gonna do. It's going to take me just a second so everybody can, I don't know, talk amongst yourselves. Tiny.cc.
I need to get going. It's past 4 o'clock. It is crazy. It's super late, bro.
What was the last one? 869 is where it should be. It's after 4. Oh, yeah, we got to end this show. Do you have anything else you want to share with the people?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything for today.
Good. I think we nailed it. Okay. Well, there we go. Now you can click on the link, tiny.cc cc874 will take you to the survey. Boom, it's fixed. We're good. So wherever you are, no matter where you're listening or watching, even on the podcast, go click on that. Go take the survey. Thank you very much. Change the future. Only you can do it. And other than that, thank you. We got producers who help out with their time, which is very important. And we thank them and we love them. Let's start out by what? Thanking the time stampers?
We can do that, yes.
Let's do that.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Okie
I
dokie.
believe it was. Oh, it's not showing me the name. Oh, Morgan E. did last episode, I believe. Thank
Morgan
you.
E. That's right. Morgan E. went in there, timestamped the show. Often she does it live, and that makes it so all of our timestamp stuff works. It goes into so much of the back end process. Very truly an incredible value that Morgan E. brings to the show. Of course, thank you to Jam, who's heading up the Telegram channel. Thank you to Adam42 for heading up the Discord channel. If you're a Telegram or Discord person, you can join both of those groups by going to canarycry.party. If you go to canarycry.party, scroll down, you'll see the invite buttons for both of those, Telegram, Discord. Thank you. Thank you, Joe, for the feedback. Thank you to Clank for clinking. I also want to thank Sir Ike for everything Sir Ike does for us. That's very important as well. And other than that, share the show, folks, or don't share the show. I forget what we're doing. It seems like you shouldn't share the show. Like it might hurt people's feelings or something. That could be a problem. Maybe in the UK, it could become a legal ramification. I don't really know. But share the show. If you feel called to share the show, listen to the Holy Spirit. Make sure that Christ is guiding your steps. And if Christ wants you to share the show, you should share the show, or don't share the show. Either way, you should share the show. And we call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you share it.
No, where's my? Wait, what? Here it is.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. There's Noah. Are you turning down the volume on those tracks as you play them?
No.
Oh,
Why?
weird. It must be the automatic thing, because they'll start out.
I do not like the automatic button on StreamYard. I told you.
They're kind of warbly too. I'm getting a little warble on them. It's very strange.
Yes. I'm getting warble from your mic the whole time here, because when we overlap sounds, at least for the live stream, I think it warbles. I think I'm frozen too on video.
Yeah, you look frozen. It must be time to end the show. So let's do that. Guns, do you have any last words?
I'm frozen. Let it go. No, we'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Yep. We'll be back on Wednesday. All right. Go take the survey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Crime News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Toilets! Toilets! Toilets!
Give me a break.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
We're all gonna die.
This is the way.
Give me a break. Feed him more.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Don't push your buttons. Let in your patience. It will be over. Let in already. It will be started. Robot girls, robot boys, all together in space. Robot girls, robot boys, all together in space. Robot girls, robot boys, all together in space. Robot girls, robot boys, all together. It's an invasion! Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion. Robot girls, robot boys, all together it's an invasion. Now!
Necro-capitalism.
Profiteers of death.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
circle back, circle back, circle back. But I'll have to circle back. I'm happy to circle back. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back on that one. Circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Let's invite some dudes over in fellowship tonight.
He's got the solutions for the problems that he created. So step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. Hiding in the shadows, he's always behind the scenes. He's pulling on the purse strings, he's got control of everything. He's got the solutions to the problems that he created. So step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. He serves his master with fervor. He's a Luciferian. He's bound up and determined to bring us to an end. It's the final solution. Destroy the human race. So walk right up to the great reset. To the great reset. For the great reset. There's only one way out through the door, but you'll need the code. 10, 5, 19, 21, 19. Or you can step right up for the great reset. For the great reset. For the great reset. For the great reset.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cried out.